Hi everyone, this is Migs from Sneaks and Ball PH, and today we have a detailed review on the LeBron 8 V2 Low Miami Nights. To start things off, if you do like the video, please make sure to leave a thumbs up down below. Then if you have any comments, questions, or any suggestions for future videos, please feel free to leave them in the comment section down below as well. Then I'll also be leaving a link to the SNBPH Sneaker Hunters Facebook group in the description box, so I do hope you can join us because that is a place where we talk about sneakers and basketball quite a bit, and it's also where we have the SNBPH Steel Cabinet where I take some shoes that I no longer use or some shoes that I've reviewed in the past and put them up for bidding at way below market value. Then if you haven't already, please do make sure to sub to the channel because it really does help us out quite a lot. Then before we get into the shoe itself, I would like to give a big thank you to Titan because I did get these from the Titan On Demand raffle, and I did choose to pick them up at Titan's newest store in SM Mega Mall, and they were also kind enough to give me a free shirt, which is the one I'm wearing now, and it's actually a pretty dope shirt. And they also allowed me to take a few videos of the store, so let's check it out. The new Titan store isn't as big in terms of floor area as some of the other Titan branches like the one in BGC, but the design of the store is really nice and it just gives you a really nice Titan vibe. So once again, thank you to Titan for allowing me to visit their newest store and for the free shirt and also for the win on these LeBron 8s. So now getting into the shoe, the LeBron 8 Low Miami Nights was a pretty limited and pretty coveted sneaker back in 2010, and it was pretty much along the lines of the LeBron 8 South Beach, and those were just absolutely popping back in 2010 because LeBron just moved to Miami, and the hype around LeBrons was probably higher than it's ever been. I mean, nowadays the hype on the LeBrons is pretty much dead because, the LeBron 18s in almost all the colorways are discounted, and even when they were releasing retros of the LeBron 7 or the LeBron 3 a couple of years ago, they were just pretty much sitting on shelves and getting heavily discounted as well. I think that's just because the timing of everything, because nowadays everyone's more into Jordans or Yeezys or even New Balance right now and basically everything that's a collab. So these retro LeBrons like the 3s, the 7s, and now the 8s are pretty much just flying under the radar. Then I also think the fact that LeBron is still playing actually kind of hurts the popularity or the hype of these retros. And it's actually something that we've kind of seen before because in Michael Jordan's first retirement, they did retro the Jordan 1s, the Jordan 2s, and the Jordan 3s, but they were also just kind of sitting on the shelves. So as of now, I do think that only time will tell whether these will get more popular as, LeBron retires and as the years go by. But I don't really mind if not a lot of people like these because I am a big LeBron shoe fan, and it's so nice that now in 2021 or 10 years later, I can get these shoes for $180 and not at the insane prices these were going for before, which was around $2,000 to $2,500, which is definitely way too much for a single shoe. Then for the LeBron 8 as a basketball shoe, it was actually one of the top shoes at the time, and even up to now I think it's in the top 5 when we're talking about the best LeBrons to play in. So to get into more detail on the shoe and to see why I still think this is a pretty playable basketball shoe in 2021, let's take a quick look at the tech specs. So starting off with the traction, you do have a solid rubber outsole with your signature LeBron 8 traction pattern. The traction pattern on the shoe does make use of this double layer herringbone that's pretty aggressive. Then surrounding that here on the lateral side as well as the medial side of the heel, you have these thicker rubber sections with these deboss lines. The traction on the LeBron 8s is really good, so whether you're using these on court or for casual use, you should have no problems. The durability is also pretty good because here on the edges you do have that thicker rubber. Then for the herringbone, it is double layered, so even if you burn through the first layer, you have another one to keep you covered. Then moving on to the cushion, the LeBron 8 makes use of a full-length Air Max unit, which does have some Phylon on top, and it's actually injected with Phylon as well. Like I said said in my last LeBron 8 video, the LeBron 7 and the LeBron 8 look like they have almost the exact same cushion setup. And though that is true from the outside, the major difference is that they injected the pillars with Phylon, which just makes the Air Max on the shoe feel infinitely more comfortable. The Air Max unit on the LeBron 8 is much thicker here at the heel, which is nice for heel strikes. Then it does thin out here at the forefoot, which gives you a lot more court feel. The cushion on the shoe overall is just super comfy, whether you're using these for casual wear or you're using it for basketball. And in my opinion, this is the most comfy full-length Air Max unit on any Nike basketball shoe. Then moving on to the materials, this was from that 2010s era, so it has a lot of fuse. And the fuse on the LeBron 8 is pretty much all throughout the upper, but the good thing is that the fuse is pretty thin and it's backed by some foam and some mesh. The fuse upper on the LeBron 8s is actually quite nice when you compare it to other shoes of the time, and it actually breaks in pretty well and feels a lot better over time. And for the other materials, you do have a little bit of leather with this rand that wraps around the eye stays, and you also have some leather here at the heel. Then for the tongue of the shoe, the bottom half is this open-celled mesh that's nice and breathable. Then for the upper half of the tongue, you do have this screen mesh, but you also have quite a lot of padding underneath. Then lastly, you do have a soft and nicely sculpted sock liner, and a perforated insole that does a really good job at wicking away moisture. Then for fit and sizing, I did go through the size with the LeBron 8, and it fits me perfectly. I did go with my standard size 10, and it fits me really well, just like the LeBron 8 sprites that I got a while back, and it also fits the same as my OG LeBron 8 sprites from 2011. You don't really have a lot of dead space on the shoe, and it also is nice and sculpted here at the back, so it just really fits well around your foot. So for my recommendation on the sizing, if you have a narrow foot or a normal width foot, go through the size. Then if you have wider feet, I would recommend you go up half a size because it is a fused shoe, which isn't really the most forgiving for those with wider feet. Then moving on to the aesthetic details, as you can see, the LeBron 8 Miami Nights is a pretty colorful shoe, but when you really break it down, even though it is colorful, it's still pretty simple as well. Starting off with the outsole, all of the rubber comes in what they call solar red, but essentially for me it's almost pink, so you have that for all of the rubber on the outsole. Then here at the heel you have a cutout that exposes some Phylon, and it is in the shape of an 8. And lastly for the outsole, you do have a triangle window here at the midfoot, where you can see through to the air unit, and you also have that LeBron Lion logo in the sort of turquoise blue. Then moving on to the midsole, for the Air Max unit, it does have that same solar red, and above that you have some white Phylon. I really love how they made that Phylon white because there is a lot of... That is a pretty simple thing that they did, which I really love because it is a colorful shoe. So just having that bit of white on the midsole, I think really brings the shoe together. Then moving on to the upper, all of that fuse does have that Miami Nights pattern, which makes use of white, some of that turquoise, that solar red, and black. Does have a pretty scattered or random or confetti look to it, and it also is pretty cool because the colors on the upper itself aren't consistent. So there's a little bit more black here at the heel, there's a bit more of that solar red here at the lateral side of the forefoot, you have some more turquoise on the medial side of the forefoot, and you also have a little bit more white here on the midfoot panels. It is a pretty interesting look, and it definitely just catches your attention because there really isn't any shoe that I know that makes use of these colors and this pattern as well. Then you also have some more white on the shoe, like you have this white leather that's on the eye stays, you have your white open-celled mesh on the tongue, and you also have some white laces. The laces that do come with the shoe out of the box are white with some solar red aglets. And then you also have an extra pair of laces, and I was actually kind of confused because they were also white. But the difference was with the aglets, because even though those were also white, they come with turquoise aglets instead of solar red. I do think I am perfectly fine with those solar red aglets on the ones that come out of the box. So I don't think I am going to be switching up the laces because it's still just white, and I don't think that's worth the effort. Then for the other portions of the shoe, you do have black on the upper half of the tongue, you have black on the sock liner, and you have black on the leather here at the heel. Then for your bits of branding, you do have a solar red lion logo here on the tongue. You also have LeBron James written here on the base of the lacing. You have a large white Nike swoosh here on the lateral side of the heel, and a smaller white Nike swoosh on the medial side. Then for your last bit of branding, you do have LeBron's logo as well as a small Nike swoosh written here at the heel in solar red. Then for the overall aesthetics on the shoe, I really love the LeBron 8 lows, and it is one of the only LeBron lows that I like just as much as the mid or high cut version. I really love this visible Air Max unit because it is what draws me to the LeBron 7 and the LeBron 8, and with the colorway overall, it is just so unique and it really just pops and looks nothing like any other shoe. So it definitely is, in my opinion, a big head turner. I also really love the white accents on the shoe because, like I said, it is a pretty colorful one. So just having that white on the Phylon as well as the white on the leather gives the shoe a good amount of balance. The only nitpick I do have with the shoe is that this upper is just like one piece, and it doesn't have that same paneling like with the LeBron 8 highs or even like some of the other LeBron 8 lows like the sprites. The shoe still looks amazing though, and it really looks good with shorts or even if you throw them on with some joggers and some no-show socks. Then for the price, the LeBron 8 V2 low retails for 9,295 pesos here in the Philippines, or 180 US dollars. That is quite a bit expensive, especially for a retro that makes use of a lot of views. But I guess it is pretty standard at this point because Jordans do retail for like 180, 190 to 200. So Nike is just kind of giving these LeBron retros the Jordan retro treatment. But what you do get, in my opinion, is a very classic shoe, and at least 180 is a hell of a lot better than $2,000. I did get my pair over at Titan because I won the raffle, and unfortunately it did sell out, and it also sold out on Nike sneakers. But if you want to grab a pair for yourself, they are available on the resale market, and it seems like the price on these are getting lower because they were kinda at their peak when these just released. Although I do recommend that you still wait a little bit because I think they'll continue to go down, and that applies both here in the Philippines and in the US because I think recently on StockX they were like $250, which is quite a bit lower than the $300 to $400 they were charging for this when these just released. So there you have it, guys. That was my detailed review on the LeBron 8 V2 Low Miami Nights. Once again, if you haven't already yet, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and click that bell icon for notifications. It would help us out a lot. Here is Sneaks and Ball, PH.